Are we live? No, I wish. Okay. Yes.
Is it still doing it?
Yeah, it does kind of. Okay, maybe I need to sit near. Maybe I should sit nearer. Maybe I can do stuff
sit
like that.
Close to the mic.
Okay, I'll do that.
Make it your
I'll
best friend.
Get
buddy
really
with
kind
it.
Of like,
yeah. Give it
back.
like very like consensual with it, but you gotta just go for it.
Yeah, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to this close. Nothing's come this close.
Yeah. No, it's oh god, these are okay. I might just cut that first part out because usually sometimes like the little banter in is really funny and sometimes it's not.
Okay, thanks for the confidence boost.
Yeah, you're gonna be great, Chris.
So that first bit's going.
That that bit's cut. We're done. This is gonna be terrible. No, I'm kidding.
Could be the shortest episode you've ever.
It could be. I'm gonna keep it over a half hour and under an hour.
Okay.
And we'll see. It could be the longest if it's like you're hosting.
Okay.
That's just a joke. I don't mean to. I'm not here to shit on you. I'm actually here to support you because you're headlining the spotlight.
I am. Yeah. Finally,
Chris Groves, father of comedy in the world,
gets the recognition he deserves.
It is. You are the daddy of comedy. No, the father definitely. You're not a daddy.
No one's daddy.
No one's daddy.
Even my kids refuse to call me daddy. Like,
yeah,
no,
that's good. I would be worried if your kids were like, daddy. I'm like, that would be weird, right?
There's an age. I think there's an age where you have to be like, don't use the word daddy anymore.
Yeah. What was that age for your kids?
They decided. It should be me deciding probably, but I think they just stopped calling me daddy at some point.
Yeah, probably when they were like...
The oldest one has said Chris once or twice. I'm not quite sure. I'm ready for that either.
That's weird that they call you by your name. Who does that?
Yeah, it's a very grown up thing, and it's a bit of a fashion thing, I think. But
Yeah, for sure. So welcome to the studio, Chris Groves.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're here because you're headlining the spotlight, but also we just wanted to chat comedy. Chat Barcelona, learn a bit more about your life here.
About the mystery that is.
The mystery, yeah. We're going to peel back the layers, get behind into your soul.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
You're an open book.
I don't have anything to say much. So.
I'm an open book, but
not
the pages
the
are
most
blank.
Interesting book, but.
You're like a dictionary, like no one actually is going to sit down and read it, but
it's good to know it's there though. Everyone wants it there.
Yeah.
Like a dictionary or a magazine about interior design or whatever, it's there.
Yeah. Only white middle-aged women read you.
I wish.
You wish. Well, you're married.
Yeah, I am married. Yes.
Aren't you like not technically married?
Well, now I don't even know because we did this Spanish pareja estable thing, so I don't know legally what I am anymore at all. I used to be not married, but so I was married.
Yeah.
And now I think I am sort of married. So
oh, congrats.
I don't know.
When did that happen?
It just happened a few months ago. We just did it. Just went to the...
You should have told us.
Office.
We all would have gotten you little wedding presents.
Yeah, it wasn't that kind of... It was kind of like, oh, let's do this because... If you die, we've got no lot of legal connections. So
yeah,
it wasn't the most romantic thing to do. But you reach a certain age where death is the consideration that comes into marriage.
In all fairness, my dad is also getting married for a similar reason. So that probably makes you feel great.
Yeah, I'm about the same as your dad.
Yeah, exactly. You're about, I think, like 10 years younger than my dad.
Ah, okay.
How old
I'll probably
are you?
just look it.
Yeah. You look
54,
30 years younger.
54 I am.
Oh, okay.
54.
No, you're closer to his age. He's 60. He turned 61 this year.
Okay. Yeah, old. That's terrible. That's old.
Yeah, you're all just old to me. I'm kidding. I don't think you're old. I think you're cool. Not that the two are.
I don't feel old. I don't feel.
You don't act old.
Well, because I don't have a clue what I'm doing in life. I think this is
yeah.
That keeps you young, not knowing what you're doing. Just Having to just sort of muddle through with shit, I think, is what keeps you young in life, I guess.
I like that. It's very wise. Just what old
Can't
people
be old.
do.
I'll just be... When I was young, I was old.
Well, yeah, what were you like when you were like 20?
I guess I was always like this, I think. I don't think I've changed much. I don't know if I've changed much. I wasn't like a party animal. I wasn't one of the cool kids. I was never sort of... I was just this, basically, going out, having a few drinks.
That's fine.
Hanging out.
Just hanging out. Just haven't changed much.
Not at all.
I wish I could say the same. That's kind of crazy. What was it? I mean, you were in your 20s. It was like, it was what, the 90s?
Yeah, it was 90s.
What was that like?
It was cool. It was cool. The 90s were cool. The 90s are like vintage now. My daughter is buying it. She had to buy a dress, and she's like, I want it vintage from the 90s.
Oh,
and
my
I was
God.
like, that's not vintage. That's just old. I want an old dress. And she's like, no, it's vintage. It's a whole thing.
That's weird to me.
90s vintage is a thing. So that's what I am now.
You're vintage.
I'm vintage.
That's nice. Is that what you would call your hour? Just call it vintage.
Vintage comedy.
Yeah.
I've been vintage for quite some time in comedy terms, probably.
Yeah. Well, you started comedy. When did you start comedy?
I guess about 12 years ago, 13 years. I really don't know. Some people count all their... Some people can tell you exactly how many times they've been on stage.
I know.
And I cannot even remember what year I first did it.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same. It kind of floors me when people are like...
Some people are like, I've been up 200 times. It's my 200th time. I'm like, oh.
It never like dawned on me to count. And now it's way too late. But like...
Yeah, I didn't count. At the beginning, I wouldn't have counted.
No.
At the beginning, it was... Well, there weren't that many shows. At the beginning, it was very... You know, I would be doing like 12 a year. So. Right.
Yeah, and you started here.
Yeah.
Did you... So tell me about the comedy scene when you first started.
Well, there wasn't a local comedy scene when I started. There was two sort of monthly shows that brought people over from the UK or Ireland. And then...
Who did those?
That was Stephen Garland and the other Steve.
Who's the other Steve?
The other Steve was Guinness Laughter Lounge. It was kind of never fully associated with the scene. Not where Stephen was a bit more connected to what was happening in Barcelona.
Right.
The Guinness Laughter Lounge just brought people over, didn't really get involved in local comedians or anything. So they were bringing people over, and that was it. So I persuaded. I got on a show at this Guinness Laughter Lounge. I got to open. The first time ever on stage was opening for some professional comedian.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. It was awful, but
it was awful. But you were like, "Let me keep doing it."
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it enough to think, okay, I don't care how badly it went. I want to do it again.
Yeah. No, exactly. Hold on. Your mic is still being weird, so I'm gonna fix it if that's okay.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm probably not gonna edit this out because that takes a lot of work.
Okay, we could just do some lift music. Dee 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 dee.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Dee 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 dee. This is the music for my show as well. Dee 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 dee.
I probably am gonna edit it out. We're back on.
It's my Spanish comedy.
Spanish comedy.
Yay.
Technology.
Yay.
We did
Thumbs
it.
A thumbs up. That's the Spanish thing.
Yay. That's a Spanish thing?
Yeah, they always do the post-show photo. That's
so cute.
That's the weirdest thing in Spanish comedy.
Is the thumbs up? Or
the post-show that everyone get all the comedians back on stage.
Do they do that every show?
Almost every show, yeah. Sometimes it's so ingrained that we don't, in secret, we don't really do it. Even for the Spanish shows, we don't do it.
Yeah.
But some comedians just start coming on. You finish the show, you start saying, give it up for all the comedians, and by the time you said the first name, they're all sort of filing back onto the stage for the photo.
That's
you end up having to do this photo
weird.
just because the comedians want that, they want that photo. And it's all like... it's just a
For
weird
some
thing.
reason, that like is very Spanish to me. Like that like reminds me of like that cheesiness. That
Yeah,
like,
I mean, the posters are all like this. As
Yeah.
well. All the Spanish comedy posters are all like wacky.
yeah, they're all just like, hey, I'm Spanish. Like, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Comedy!
So, okay, so you started with English comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was like 12-ish years ago.
Yes, yeah, probably a lot more, but I forget.
Cool. So, like, what led you to start comedy in the first place?
I've always liked comedy, always watched comedy, always sort of enjoyed comedy, and then it was having these two clubs that were here, these two sort of monthly nights that were here, were literally both of them within 2 minutes walk of my flat.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, so I started going
as
to
long
see
as you
the
don't have to
comedy.
walk too much.
Yeah, no. But I was like, this is weird. This is sort of drawing me into comedy.
Yeah.
So I started going to watch the shows each month. And then back then, basically, it wasn't, now you get big names coming out here.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, you tended to get people who were on the way up or people who were on the way down, basically, who would travel around Europe. You didn't get the big names traveling around Europe so much.
Right.
So we would get sort of names that I would recognise, but people who are on their way down, basically.
Like who?
Just clawing hold. Okay, I can't remember. I can't name anyone. My memory's shit. But we had...
See, you're aging yourself now, Chris.
Yeah, or people on the way up. We had Sean Walsh come.
Oh, cool.
For example, but before... the first time he came was just before he got big.
Cool.
And we had... I can't even see my names. I'm so shit with names of comedians.
I'm bad at names too.
Scottish comedian, but I can't remember. He got very big.
Sean Walsh.
He's not Scottish. I'm not as bad as you.
What is he British?
We will edit that bit. Sean Walsh is English. Yeah.
English, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, British would be Scottish and English,
Yes,
technically.
but he's just not laying it down.
Yeah, no, I didn't change that at all. I was like, he's British.
But yeah, so that was that. So seeing those comedians, kind of you think, okay, this is fun, this is great, but also kind of gives you a feeling of I could
do that.
I could try that.
Yeah,
that's why not try it.
That's so funny because a lot of people will like see a shitty open mic and be like, I could do that. So it's funny that you're saying like old pros or like up and coming pros, and you're like, I could do that.
Yeah, I could try it. I've always been sort of big-headed in terms of how funny I think I am, I suppose.
Sure.
I'm really kind of like shy and for everything else maybe, but I kind of think I'm funny. I've always thought I was funny.
You are funny. I think so. That's funny. That's kind of cool. I mean, so you always thought you were funny. You grew up kind of watching comedy. What sorts of things did you watch like growing up? And like what kind of comedy were you into?
I watched the British sitcoms, obviously, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Jack D. I used to love Jack D.
I don't know who that is.
Well, you see, he's an English comedian.
See, I'm American.
He's still around, but he came through in the sort of late 80s, probably.
Cool. Jack D. Anyone else that was like a big
Eddie Izzard. I used to watch all Eddie Izzard videos.
Cool.
DVDs. Sorry, I'm not that old. It's DVDs, not videos. Not videos.
It's okay. I had VHSs. I went to my mom's and she made us go through like old boxes, and I found a VHS. We found a lot of like home video VHSs. And then I also found the VHS for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's
There was a VHS?
Stone. Mm-hmm.
That was on video. My God.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not that old then.
No, it's not that old. That was like 2000. So, yeah. It just went DVD, Blu-ray, nothing real quick. So, crazy though. So, and you were watching all these like comedians, and then you were like, I could do that. And now here you are owning a comedy club.
Yes, yeah. Secret Comedy Club, yeah.
Secret Comedy Club.
Running it, yeah.
Yeah, running. But like you run it.
We own it. Yeah, I guess I own it. We don't physically own the bricks, but yeah.
Yeah, but like the IP of it you own.
Yes,
is yours.
Yeah. Mine and Gabby Gomez, the Argentinian
yes.
guy.
And it's like in English, Spanish. club?
It's English, Spanish, and we haven't done a Catalan show yet. We should do we will do a Catalan show, I'm sure.
You should. I'll
soon.
definitely come.
And then any other language that comes along. We've had Italian, Russian. We've had different people, Ukrainians.
Very cool. Very cool. So what made you want to open the club?
Basically, everything I've ever done is through like a feeling that I needed to do something, rather than sort of like wanting to do it. When I start, apart from starting comedy, but hosting was because I needed to host, or running a night was because I needed to run a night. And so I just felt like the clubhouse was open. It was starting to open all night, but even with that, every night it was starting to feel small in terms of amount of time that were for comedians.
Yeah.
And for me personally, wanting to do it more in Spanish and get sort of the better slots for Spanish shows and things like that, with Gabby, we decided to try and set our own one up.
Love it.
Open up more times and get the sort of prime time slots for Spanish as well, because Clubhouse, because of their timetabling, couldn't really fit prime spots for Spanish shows.
Right. We were doing those Sunday nights.
Yeah, I was doing the Sunday night shows, which were working okay, but we wanted to see, could this, we wanted to see if the Spanish shows could grow, and we thought, well, we need to sort of try Saturdays, try other nights.
Yeah. And is it working?
The Spanish is working, yeah.
That's great. Is the English working?
The English is harder.
Is it?
Harder, yeah. I think because the Clubhouse is so established, it's we're going into a scene that's already got a lot of offers, whereas the Spanish scene, although there's lots of mics dotted around, there's not a Spanish comedy club.
Right.
There's not anywhere that people now say, okay, I'm just going to go there whatever night it is and see comedy.
Right.
So I think there was more of a gap that we could fill in Spanish than in English.
For sure. That makes sense. It's kind of wild that there's no Spanish comedy club here.
There's none. I mean, in Madrid there's like 2 or 3, I think, but in Barcelona there's none. It's been an argument. For years I've sort of said to the Spanish comedians, why is there no club? And there's no demand. People won't go to comedy every night of the week, so it's just something they never wanted to do.
That's so weird to me. That they're like, there's no demand. It's like, clearly there's demand because you're doing shows.
Yes, yeah. But that idea that they would go like Monday, Tuesday, for them was not.
Interesting.
It's always been a hobby for people, and that people weren't ready to make that. It's a step to say, I'm going to run a club.
Right. Would you say, is it your career now? Like, is this like your main income?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. Again, not necessarily by choice. Other incomes started going down. So it became my main income. Even before I had the club, it kind of became my main income.
Really?
I was English teaching. I stopped English teaching, and then so the comedy classes became sort of the main income.
Yeah. How did you start doing the comedy classes?
With another Spanish comedian that I was working with at the time, and actually I did a course with Logan Murray here in Barcelona years ago, maybe 10 years ago, whatever. Logan Murray used to do weekend courses, and he would come every year, and so I got to know him, and he actually said to me, why don't you do a course here? He suggested I do a course here.
Interesting.
And then I said, but most of what I know in terms of doing a course would come from your course. And he was like, yeah, but that's fine as long as you name, he said amongst the trainers and things, as long as you're naming them, as long as if you do an exercise that I use, say, okay, this one's from Logan Murray's workshop.
Cool.
Then he says, he's fine with it.
Cool. So that's kind of how you do the class.
So that's how I started doing it, and then kept going.
It's blown up. Now we have all these baby comedians. Yeah,
we've had a few people go through the course.
Yeah, so. And then they come out and they're like, Chris is my dad.
Yes. Yeah, which needs more context sometimes. They use it a lot without saying why. But yes.
Yeah, like Mila said it, and I was like, Mila, you can't just call Chris daddy all the time. It's inappropriate.
Yeah, no, I mean some people who went on and are doing a lot have done the course.
Yeah. I know, like Mila did it and James did it.
Andy Casper did it.
Andy
right at the
Casper.
beginning.
Wow.
Luis Vendré did it.
Wow. Some of our best, I'd say.
Yeah. You know, I
I
forget
never
they
did
did
it.
it. I mean, you know.
you should.
I
Like,
sometimes have to remember. Okay, yeah, they did it. Irene Meneguzzi did it.
Irene,
Did it for a
really?
while, yeah.
Yeah, you should like use that as like testimonials. Be like,
I don't know how much I want to be associated with it.
I'm sure they would love it. Like you could be like have a little picture of like Mila. Be like, she runs these shows. She's like, this could be you. You know, like.
I think Mila, yeah, she came to a few classes. And I think she'd get quite impatient with the other people in the class. I think that Mila. She came very much with an idea of what she wanted to get out of the class.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of faffing around and messing around, and she was like, come on. It's just...
That does not surprise me. That's very Mila of her. That's great, though. You've had a lot of big Barcelona names, I guess. Like people
I'm still waiting for my first one to go on and do Netflix or something like that. That'll be my moment. I'll be like, found you funny.
A graduate of Chris Grove's Find Your Funny, Andy Casper is bringing his show Bone Man to Netflix. I could see Bone Man on Netflix.
Yeah.
Have you seen Bone Man yet?
I have, yeah. I'm not the whole show. I haven't seen the full show. I've seen him coming on stage and a couple of mics and stuff.
Yeah.
Doing it.
It's always really... I think he's only done the full show like once, which I saw. Because I'm a good friend.
To be honest, I do actually like... One thing I do kind of feel proud of is how different everyone that's come through is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, without getting all sort of blowing my own trumpet, it's called...
Please blow your trumpet.
It's called Find Your Funny because the idea is that everyone is funny, and it's about finding how they feel funny and what they do on comedy. So I'm happy that everyone comes through different styles. I don't think you would see someone and say, oh, they've done Chris's course. Whereas other courses, particularly there's nothing else much in English, but in Spanish, a lot of the courses you can see, okay, they've done his course, they're following very much that style, and like more of a factory. Whereas I would think, hopefully you wouldn't necessarily say, oh, he's definitely done Find Your Funny, because people come through with different styles.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. That's something that when I found out certain people had done your course, I was like, oh wow, everybody that's done it that I know is so different and has their own sense of humor and their own like Mila's like quite absurd, whereas like Irene Meneguzzi is like, she's also a little absurd. Yeah,
but for example, she's very much like prepared text.
Yeah,
performing her text. Wouldn't necessarily go off text. Certainly at the beginning she wouldn't go off text much. Wouldn't do much crowd work.
Right.
Whereas others have come through and been very sort of open and
exactly
a lot of crowd work and stuff. So
exactly.
I think I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
It might mean I didn't have anything to teach them in the first place. It may mean that I'm just finding people who are funny, persuading them to give me money for a little bit, and then they go and do what they would have done anyway. I don't know.
It's the ultimate scam.
But I like to keep it as a thing that I'm doing well. I'm not influencing them in any way.
Exactly. You're not influencing them at all, actually. In fact, maybe they would have been better without the course.
That's my selling point. Do Find Your Funny course and will not be influencing you in any way. It'll be like you never did it.
No one will know. No one will have any idea that you went through a stand-up comedy course. It's
a good selling point.
It's a pretty good,
and easy to live up to. I always like things that are easy to live up to.
I do too, right? Like keeping expectations low is the best. I feel like that's something I like when you do that though, and I find like I actually really like when you host. Like it's a style. And you know what you're doing, so it's quite funny when you're like this next comedian, and then you talk about them for like 10 minutes, and I think it's the funniest thing ever. And you like lower the expectations in a way where you're like if you build someone up, then you like lower. You'll be like they're really really funny, but blah blah. I don't know. Like you do this. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'll always I'm always like changing. what I thought. And I will delay. I do get a twisted pleasure out of having people waiting there to go on stage and doing one more sentence. It's partly planned, partly just me thinking of, no. But it's partly planned.
Yeah, it creates this really fun game with the audience where you're like,
just let it on. Just please let the comedian on. That's what I want. That's what I get. That sort of like desire to, don't care who's coming. They just want someone to finally come on the stage.
Which is actually really good. That's smart, because then they get on and the audience is like, yay, I'm really happy to see you.
It's not Chris anymore. That's why.
In all fairness, my mom thought you were really funny.
Thank you.
When she saw you.
Okay.
Do you remember?
So I'm similar age to your dad, and your mum thinks I'm funny.
My mom's single. You're not.
Okay, I'm not single.
You're not. Single. You're married now.
I'm married, sort of.
You're married. Yeah.
More married than I used to be.
Yeah, I wish.
In stages, I'm going. Maybe eventually we'll get.
You'll do a full wedding. Do the registry. If you were to have a registry, what would be on it?
I've got no idea what you mean.
Like a wedding registry. Have you been to a wedding?
I've been to a wedding. Okay, and so the wedding registry is
like, when they like put the link and then they say, buy gifts from this registry.
Oh, okay. Because in English, the registry makes you think of the registry office, which is where you go to do it.
Oh, interesting.
If you're not getting married in a church, you go to a registry office.
Maybe that's why we call it the registry.
I don't know. But so the registry is like the wedding list.
It's the gift list. It's the gift. It's the wish list. But the registry is like the fancy wedding term. Because then that way, like, you buy it and then you check it off and then no one else buys it. So it's like online. Yeah,
I think I would go full Spanish, just money in an envelope.
Is that what Spanish people do?
Spanish people, yeah. A lot of people give money in an envelope.
Nice.
It's not really traditional to have a wedding list.
Oh, that's
here. I think it's money in an envelope. You pay for basically you pay for the dinner here.
Oh, okay. So
if you invite us, it's expensive. I'm so happy to be not invited to too many weddings.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. We're expected to basically pay for how much they're going to be spending on you for the dinner.
Right. So if it's like you more. And a family.
So if it's a family, you've got to put €600 maybe.
That's insane.
So we're like, okay.
Yeah, never mind.
Not going to a wedding.
No weddings.
So if we did get married properly, then I'd be like wanting some of that back, basically.
Yeah. That's why you should do it. I would give you money to go to your wedding. That's the whole point. Yeah. I love weddings. I have dresses.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
I got stuff to wear for weddings. I always have to go back to the States. That's really expensive because then I'm flying.
Yeah, and there's been no big comedy weddings here.
No, like we have some comedy relationships. Yeah. We got Kim and Stu.
Yeah.
We got Helen and Josh.
But no wedding. Who could be the first? Who would be the first comedy wedding? I feel like Kim and Stu, right? Yeah, you think so? I don't know if I think they've got past the time where they would be bothered to
probably
get married.
I know. How long?
I think they haven't done it yet.
I don't know. I feel like I've asked Kim this or Stu or something. I really want them to have a wedding because that would be an insane wedding.
That would be, yeah.
Like we would all just be like doing drugs like out on the wedding table dinner. They'd be like, no food, just drugs.
Drugs and spicy food.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have it would be sponsored by the Hot Ones, hot sauce. Right? You have Luke officiating. Just being like, I take these two or what? Yeah, if you could have any comedian officiate your wedding, who would it be?
Oh, God, there you go. That's a horrible question.
That's a great question.
Yeah, but there's so many, I'm sorry, everyone would want to do it. So
I want to do it. I'll do it musically, Chris. I know you love the ukulele.
Okay, so you could maybe be there, adding the tunes maybe.
Yeah.
I think I have a bit I'd have a collection of people coming up and doing a little bit.
That would be fun, like a wedding comedy show.
An open mic wedding thing. Everyone only gets 3 minutes. They get 3 minutes.
Shitty wedding.
Shitty wedding, which would be appropriate, probably. Yeah.
That would be fun. Shitty wedding.
Okay, so you could be all. So you're just on the mic. You don't come on at any point. You're just there.
I'm gonna sit in the back,
deciding who's coming up next.
Yeah.
You say the next section of the wedding will be officiated by Marithia, Wendy, and Stuart.
Exactly.
Come on. And the light flashes and we'll get off again.
That would be really funny. See, now I want you to have a wedding. Okay. You want this now.
I'm near. I'm a step nearer to doing it now.
Turn it into a comedy show. I'm not sure
Pilar would be impressed. Pilar would not be.
No, I don't even think I've met her.
No, you may not have done.
I've met your daughter.
Yeah, you've met. Yeah, the oldest daughter's been to shows now.
Because she came to like a roast battle, which is brave of you to bring your daughter to your roast battle.
Yeah, she did come to a roast battle. And now, because now she's 18.
Oh, so now she can come to whatever she wants.
Last year or so, she's been coming to quite a lot of shows.
That's so sweet.
And started bringing friends.
Aww.
So, you know.
That's really cute.
So it's nice and it's an audience. So but this is what I've been waiting for.
I only had kids that they'd come to my comedy show.
I didn't need to work on my Instagram. I just needed to have a kid that was 18.
Like a social child. What does your daughter do? She's 18.
She's just finishing sort of like the compulsory school, and then she's going to study for another year and then go to university.
Cool.
So she's following the kind of academic
route. Yeah.
That everybody follows.
Yeah. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I took a year out between school and university, but
I wish I did that. That's like, I told my grandparents that's like one of my biggest regrets is not doing a gap year. Because it's not very customary in America to do that gap year.
I mean, it's a weird, I mean, I'm glad I did it, but you do it, I think it's one of those things where you go into it with lots of hopes and dreams of what that year is going to be, and then it just turns into
partying,
delaying the actual going to university.
Yeah,
I spend a year doing really awful temp jobs, basically.
Oh, fun!
Trying to get some money.
Great.
So the dreams of traveling just didn't happen, and it was an experience.
Yeah. But that's like work experience. So you got an idea of like what you liked and what you didn't.
Well, yeah. I didn't like sweeping the streets. I didn't like working in a factory checking pills.
It sounds like you're talking about the 50s. I'm just picturing you in like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Late 80s. Packing eggs. That was the most disgusting job I've ever done.
Yeah, it sounds gross.
I don't care about how many eggs get broken at all. It's more economical for them to just chuck a whole load of eggs at you, and you get as many as you can, than it is to have the eggs going past sort of slowly for you to put them on. So basically, a conveyor belt of eggs comes towards you.
Oh my God!
Not past you, towards you.
That's terrifying.
And you put as many eggs as you can into the boxes before they fall off the end. So you basically stood there in the floor covered in broken eggs, just trying to keep up. And then every 15 minutes, they sound an alarm, and you step back and they mop, and then you go back in again. So I did that for about a week.
Well, at least you know that if someone were to throw eggs at you, you could handle it.
But yeah, and that's it. Now comedy.
And now comedy. Is that what, did you know what you wanted to do when you were younger?
I wouldn't have said, comedy was never a realistic thing. I went into teaching. I was teaching for a long time.
Right.
I knew lots of things I didn't want to do, basically.
Yeah. So you didn't want to...
I didn't want to teach. I discovered.
I mean, same. I studied teaching and was like, no.
I studied. I studied to be an actual teacher.
Yeah.
And then I came here, was doing language teaching for a long time.
When did you come here?
In 96, 97. Yeah.
Holy shit. You've been here almost 30 years.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Over half my life now, I think.
So wow.
I just reached the halfway point.
Holy shit. That's insane. And congratulations on that. What led you to move here?
My wife. Pilar was from here. Sorry.
My wife.
Wife. I shouldn't do that. Hand action.
Yeah, she could be listening to this. I'm going to send this to your daughter directly.
Send it. They'd be like, why would I want to spend all that time listening to my dad?
It's fair. I would never want to listen to my dad.
So I came over for her, basically.
That's so sweet. How'd you meet her?
In England, in a special school in England, and then
a special school.
Yeah, we were both working there.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't a student. It's okay.
Yeah, I was about to say Chris.
Yeah. No. We were both working there, and she was there for we were there. She was in England for a couple of years, and she was like, I need to see the sun.
That's fair.
So she came back here, and then I followed her because it was always going to be easier for me to get work here than it was for her in England.
Yeah, and you could always just teach English here.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and then you did.
So I drifted into that, and then eventually got to a point where it was leaving me and I was leaving it. It was kind of a mutual decision.
Mutual breakup.
To not teach English anymore.
Yeah.
So then I got into the comedy. Well, I was already doing it as a hobby, and then I just kept doing it and sort of turned it into more ways of getting money from it, basically.
Which is pretty, technically, you could say you're a full-time working comedian.
Yes, I do.
I do say that. It's impressive, though. That's like kind of the dream.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like it.
Right.
You don't feel like you've achieved, but when someone says, I'll be like, my life's boring, and, for me, I think I've got a boring life and nothing happens and all that, but then some people say, but, you're running a comedy club, so you've got your own business.
Right.
You perform regularly. You go every year to the Edinburgh Fringe. There's lots of things that people would find exciting, that people want to do, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like everything, I guess you just take it for granted when you're actually doing it. It's just something that you do,
Yeah. No, it's really easy to take it for, especially when you go back home. I'm sure you face this too, because I was just back in the States and people are like, you're really doing it. You're doing comedy. It's so impressive. Blah, blah. Like my friend who just had a baby was saying this to me, and I'm like, girl, you just gave birth.
Yeah.
You're a mom to a 3-month-old, and she also didn't really take time off of her PhD program. I'm like, you are doing it. I am bumming around in Barcelona, kind of doing some shit.
Yeah. So, that's one of the reasons why one of the good things from the course is that you get that kind of people with fresh enthusiasm.
Yeah.
All the time, kind of driving you, thinking, okay, yeah,
That's nice.
Because there's people excited, there's people excited to do their first open mic. There's people excited to do their first 15 minutes. There's people, so you kind of think, okay, it helps you not take everything for granted so much.
Yeah. And then you're that's nice. I feel like, oh my God, there was something I was going to say about that. Just that it rubs off on you. And so really the people are paying to do the course, but it's really just for you to keep your enthusiasm.
Yes. I do get a lot out of it. Also for writing as well. I mean, I'm not saying I don't steal jokes, but it does, doing the course, it makes you think, okay, yeah, I've got to write, I've got to get new material, because you're the whole time telling people how to do it.
Exactly.
And they're like, do you do that? And they're like, oh.
Right. Do you do your own exercises and then
Yeah, it's, less and less. Depends on time. I'm busy, so I tend to be, a lot of my writing is done on the walk to the show, to be honest.
I feel that.
And then I try and keep, I think, that works, I'll keep that.
Yeah.
Try and turn it into a bit afterwards.
Is that kind of your writing process? It's just
It is, yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I used to write, I used to sit down and write and have it all written out and then narrow it down and sort of work on it like that. But, the last few years it's been a bit more organic, I guess is the
That's a nice
posh way of saying.
That is. I was going to say loosey-goosey. So.
Mainly because I've been hosting so much that a lot of material comes out of the hosting as opposed to the other way around, maybe.
For sure. So with the spotlight, what kind of material do you expect to be doing?
Well, I'm excited. I mean, to be honest, I'm quite excited. It's not often I get a chance to sort of do a set and a long set and not be worried about so much about all the sort of stuff behind, to actually concentrate on my set. It's not often I get to do it. So
right, because usually you're running your own club, so it's
I'm worried about selling the show. I'm worried about how many tickets have sold. I'm worried about I'm hosting, so I'm worried about all the sort of side of hosting it. So it's not often I'm like thinking, okay, I'm going to just turn up, do my set. There's going to be a decent audience because Clubhouse gets decent audiences.
Yeah.
Weekends especially, so I've got less pressure. I can just actually concentrate on
your comedy,
on my set, which would be nice.
Yeah.
I can actually think about what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So do you know, like, what have you been telling jokes about lately?
I've been doing. There's a bit. I've been doing some things with like saying Spanish phrases in English. So it sounds so pat and terrible when I do it now. When I say what I'm doing.
I know, talking about jokes is hard.
But yeah, no, so I've been doing like quite a bit of talking about Spanish phrases in English.
Like what? What's like a Spanish phrase in English?
My penis is sweating.
That's a Spanish phrase?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means that you're worried about something.
So is
no,
what?
Sorry, it means the opposite. Sorry, that's why I got it wrong. It means you're not worried.
Oh.
This is what I talk about. It means you're not worried about something. Misura la polla means I don't care.
Wait,
Misura la polla.
Misura la polla.
My dick is sweating.
Misura la polla.
Yeah. Means you don't care at all.
How does that mean you don't care? If my dick was sweating, I'd care a lot.
So that's my bit.
That's my bit. You can't say that.
You can't say it anymore. Now it's done.
No, it's my bit.
In 3 languages.
That's really funny, though. I've never heard that phrase. Well, I probably have.
So there's quite a few in there. There's don't touch my testicles. So there's.
What is with this obsession with penises?
Yeah. And I shit in the milk, so I'm more famous. So
I think I've heard that one.
I've been playing with those a bit at the moment.
That's really fun.
But I don't, I look at my material and I think I wish I had some more clever.
I think you're very
I watch
clever,
other comedians and I see, them developing like a structure and telling a story and it builds to something, and they've got their hour show and it builds to something, and there's a big callback at the end, and I'm just doing dick jokes. And
I never thought of you as like the Barcelona comedy father of dick jokes, but like if someone was like Chris Groves, I wouldn't be like dick jokes.
Okay, but I do have a 15-minute bit about the size of my penis.
And what is this? No, I mean, I don't need to know.
You'll have to come Saturday.
If you don't come, I will. That's crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I saw Stuart's show at the Secret when Stuart did his hour, and I was very impressed by his kind of style of like doing. What did he do? He did these things where he would talk about something like really stupid. You'd be like, that's so stupid. And then he would take it and like twist it into something really smart, right? And you're like, wow, this is so deep and existential. And then he would have just like the dumbest punchline ever. And it was actually brilliant. And it all kind of came together at the end.
Yeah. And Andy Casper stuff, which sort of seems weird, is always, he talks a lot of very personal stuff, mental health, all these sorts of things that people start dealing with, and I'm like,
yeah,
I've got a huge penis.
I'm glad you can say it proudly, though. Like that's all that counts. You got to be proud of your little guy, your big guy. Sorry.
So, yeah.
My mistake. That's great. Who would you say are some of your like favorite comedians right now, whether famous or in the scene or anyone?
I mean, in terms of like watching from other places, I like James Acaster. I've been watching.
Oh yeah.
James Acaster. I like him and his podcast and things. That's sort of outside the scene, and inside the scene I probably shouldn't.
I don't want to pick favorites.
I probably shouldn't say, but there's a lot of fun. There's new people coming through.
Yeah.
which I can say more comfortably. The new people come through, as opposed to saying they're better than the originals. But yeah, I mean, like Ian Anderson is he's coming through really strong. Ollie,
Yeah.
they're doing that split hour now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of new people
That's pretty
coming
impressive. Yeah.
through Find You Funny.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, well, you had Karen did your course too, right?
Yes, yeah,
Karen Liu.
yeah.
And she won the Ficker best new comedian,
And
right?
Mauricio did the course.
Mauricio.
And he won the Ficker.
Wow.
So.
And you're not
I've
on
never won anything.
You were close though, right?
I think I got close.
Yeah.
I made the final of the competition, and then I gave up trying.
Yeah. I did it in 2015, the first year I did comedy.
You did it in 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been doing it.
You've been doing it longer.
Longer than I said.
Well, that was 9 years ago. So you said maybe 12, 13
Yeah,
years.
so it could be 13, 14, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, 2015 you did it. Oh
2015,
God.
that's when I lived here the first time. I know, I've known you almost 10 years,
Yeah.
which is absurd. It's crazy. You look the same though. Haven't aged a bit.
I looked that bad 10 years ago. I was like...
I don't know. I mean, you do look the same to me. I'm sure you've aged. I don't know.
Got white. I mean, I got more white in the beard.
Yeah, it was gray and now it's like white.
Yeah.
So you're kind of becoming Santa.
Yeah.
And like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus. Just slowly but surely.
Just need to cut it and I'll look young again. Just need to cut it off.
I like it. I think it's like amiable, you know? I'm like, oh, look at that sweet old guy. And then you come on and you're like, I have a giant penis.
I'll try and think of something clever to say on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm sure
I've got
you
one
will.
or two clever politically
I think so.
incisive bits. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Are you political?
No. No, not comedy and not in life really. I wouldn't
No.
say. No, I think
You don't give a shit.
I guess when I was younger I would have done, but
Yeah.
I think when you get kids, you kind of like think there's not much time for nothing else.
That surprises me because sometimes I feel like people who have kids become more political because they're like, I need the world to be a better place for my children.
Okay, no, I need to concentrate on how to do this without fucking up too much. I think it's the way I was with kids, you know.
Yeah.
So, I need to make sure, you worry about money, you worry about everyday things,
Yeah.
rather than sort of like changing the world.
That's fair. I think that's a lot more reasonable, honestly. I think the parents that go out there and protest to make the world a better place for their kids and then leave their kids at home with the babysitter are like, come on, guys.
Yeah. I can think of some examples. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, or you bring the kids to the protests and then they become like afraid of crowds and formative experiences. I don't know. If what was my question going to be? For like, as a parent, what's like, do you have any like funny stories of like something of being a parent?
Yeah, I don't have as many as I think people think you should have a load, especially if a comedian's got kids. Everyone's like, oh, it's so much material, and
Yeah.
like, most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's
So
kind of
you
like
have boring kids.
everyday kind of things. I've got things you can make into
bits.
funny stories, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's not that I do. It's not that I do a lot. I tend to embellish. I've got things that I would embellish for
Yeah.
the kids, rather as opposed to like this is a completely hilarious story that I'm just going to tell as it happened, sort of thing.
Right. Do you have an example?
No.
Chris, tell me something funny. No. You have to come on Saturday. If you want me to make you laugh. That's sweet. And how old is your younger daughter?
15.
15.
Yeah.
And
We're going to be 15,
yeah, it's the same. It's all the same.
I shouldn't have said that. Now I make it look like I don't know how old my kid is. And no one knows. No one cares. So I could have just said 15 and stayed with 15 as opposed to doubting.
As opposed to being like, wait, is she 15 yet? Oh, crap. Uh-oh. When's her birthday? Do you know?
I do, in
Okay.
August.
Nice. Leo. She's a Leo.
It's early August. I don't know what she is.
Yeah, she's Leo then.
She's just before the Fringe, always. Just before we go up to the Fringe.
Nice. Are you going to the Fringe this year?
Yep.
What's your plan?
Well, the plan is to, I've got three shows planned. So the plan now is to get enough people to perform in the shows.
Cool. I'll do them.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be space this year, I think. So.
Great. What are the shows?
I've got my solo show.
Amazing. What's that going to be?
This year it's going to be called The One About the Cow.
Oh, you're doing that cow bit?
I'm doing that. I'm basically, without giving too much away, basically, the idea is I've got one joke for the hour. You see my comedy. It's all about stretching stuff.
Yeah.
Beyond where it should be stretched.
Yeah.
So the idea is I've got the show is one joke, a joke about the cow, and then I'm just getting distracted and filling in bits. So the show starts with the setup and finishes with the punch.
I love that.
That's the idea.
And what time and where is that?
That's going to be in Edinburgh. It's going to be in the evening. It's just off the Royal Mile. It's a venue just off Royal Mile, Greenside.
Cool. Oh, great.
So
okay, you're doing Greenside.
Yeah, I'm doing that place again.
Cool.
And then I've got the student showcase that we always do, the sort of like where the Find It Funny people do 5-10 minutes
Great.
of material. And then because there's people going back from the Find It Funny who wanted to go back again and do it, then I booked another show where they can do some split hours. So it'll be a different split hour each day.
Oh, cool. I'll do that if you want.
There's gonna be spaces.
Oh, cool. Great. Well, me and Mariah will be there, so we can always bring back in the shit. When is that one? What time is that?
That's gonna be, I think, that in the more lunchtime or afternoon time.
I might not be able to do them.
So yeah,
my show's at 2.
I should know all these things. I should have all this in my head.
I know. I'm like, you should be like 2 p.m. South Sider. Yeah, that's where my show is.
All I know is this Saturday 8 p.m. I've got that much.
Okay,
I can say that much. This Saturday 8 p.m. the Comedy Clubhouse.
Yeah,
I know I'm here.
I know you're here. That's gonna be great. I'm really excited. It's gonna be fun. When's the last time you did like a half hour?
I did. Okay, there's the last time I did half hour and the last time I did half hour with an audience. Is two different things.
I did a half hour last night in the shower.
I did a half hour. Did a half hour like a week ago, but it was just like an impromptu show.
Oh, nice.
There was a gap in the timing in sequence. So
fun!
We put on a show and had like 10 people in.
That's fun. That's great.
But it wasn't, again,
Who did the other half hour?
Maurizio. It was because Maurizio was going to the competition, so he was looking for stage time. So we said, let's put on a show.
I love that.
And so we did the show, and I did, But again, it wasn't, I didn't take the time I should to plan it,
Yeah.
So hopefully this time I can actually take a bit of time and decide what I'm going to talk about.
I love it.
It's always going to seem, my style is always going to be kind of chaotic and just kind of like thinking of stuff in the moment, but
for sure, just kind of off the cuff, like
I'm not
stretching thoughts out.
You reach a certain age where
you get old.
Half-hour planned thing is not going to happen.
No.
Probably.
No. There's no way. Oh fuck! What was my question for you? I have ADHD and I'm jet lagged, so I'm really trying my best here. But I had a question. How have you seen the scene, like the Barcelona scene, change? Because you've probably been here the longest and been active in the scene the longest of anyone. So you said you started, like, when you started, it was just there were these two guys bringing comedians over, and then, like, kind of what happened? Well,
it started with, I started getting together with Anne Dwyer, who's still kind of around. That was the beginning of a revival. Before I was around, there had been, like, an attempt to start a regular show, and they'd done 3 or 4 shows, I think, but kind of died out. And so through these monthly shows, I met and I was put in contact with Anne Dwyer.
Wow.
We started sort of running through material, planning a night. We got 2 or 3 people from improv involved from Big, because at that point Big was sort of the improv was bigger than stand-up in Barcelona.
Yeah.
So we got them involved. We set up a night, and that became like a monthly show.
Cool.
And Anne's sort of always around, but then it was different people organising the show. There's about 4 or 5 sort of regulars every month, and then it sort of started growing from there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because I think when I got here, there was like there was Ample.
Yeah, that was kind of the first thing. I mean, we were doing it monthly with the Suck.
Yeah, oh, I remember Suck.
Kills Suck. So that was a monthly thing. And then we were lucky enough to get a couple of people that had enough sort of like initiative to say, I want to start doing open mic. And so they started doing Ample.
Nice.
And that's when it kind of started growing.
Yeah, that was Andy and Lucia, right? Yeah. Lucia has a baby now.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
Very cute.
Yeah, so they started doing the open mic, eating, prepared to eat shit, basically, doing the tough stuff.
Yeah.
That you need to do to start a scene, probably.
Yeah, it was tough.
We were there before, but we were just worrying about keeping our show sort of going. We didn't have the sort of the time or energy to go beyond sort of and think about a scene.
Right.
Whereas Andy and Lucia were sort of started thinking about making it grow,
Yeah, for sure. And then like Vinny came.
And Vinny came in, and you start getting lots of shows popping up, and a rivalry. The idea of a rivalry came along.
Yeah.
And hatred got involved and all sorts of things. And that then there were splits and stuff, and then kind of died down.
Yeah.
And everyone started getting on better.
Yeah. I would say our scene is one of the most cohesive.
Yeah, I think it's one. I mean, comedians coming through, it's one of the things they say, about the scene, I think. I think it's the quality. The shows I think we're getting quality as well now. But even before we had a good scene, we had a nice scene.
Yeah.
And I think
I agree.
A scene that worked and cooperated, and the idea of not stepping on each other's nights, which now there's more than one show a night because there's hopefully audience for it. But at the beginning, people would you'd make sure you didn't do shows the same nights as other people.
Right.
You'd collaborate and.
Yeah. It is a very collaborative scene, and it's funny to think about that past where there was that split, and like I was kind of here during a bit of that drama, but then I was also gone during a lot of the drama, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always going to be splits, and even now there's little splits and things happen.
Of course.
Inside the scene, but I think the overall.
I would say the overall
feeling
health.
is cooperate and help each other. And
yeah, I think there's a lot of camaraderie, and the fact that you're here doing the spotlight is like just proof of that. That like there's no, like we're not like comedy Clubhouse versus Secret. It's like we're just two.
Yeah, no, fortunately, because it wouldn't be a fair fight yet.
No, it wouldn't. It would not, because we get money from drink sales, really.
Yeah, I mean, Secret is it's growing slowly. It's still fairly new, I guess. It's almost a year. I think there's a year now we've been since the first
Congrats.
show. So
are you going to do like a year anniversary show?
I think we missed it, to be honest.
Belated.
Kind of happened, but yeah. So it's been a year, and then
wow.
And we're kind of growing, but yeah. I mean, what I'm most happy with Secret is the actual space, the space we've created, the way it looks, the sound, the sort of, we've taken care to make a nice space.
For sure. It has a really like high-end vibe. Like the neon like Secret sign is really cool, and then like filming all the shows and the crowd with the tables, like it has a really nice
so I mean, that's the idea has been look after what we can look after, and hopefully from there it grows, sort of thing. So that's the next
for sure
stage, is to invest more in getting it out there, getting past social media and trying to sort of get a wider audience.
Yeah, and I mean, you definitely have like the everything you need there, and then it's just like, I think once people start seeing like clips on that stage, it's gonna go really well, because that stage looks beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, that's the sort of thing we sort of thought about at the beginning, sort of to make it look as nice as we can, and the sound and all these things that you can control.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, we're wrapping up.
Okay.
I have one last question for you. And since you're a comedy teacher, this is a good one. What is your advice to young and new comedians?
Okay. Go for it. Go for it.
Love that.
I mean, you can
Take Chris's
honestly,
course.
everybody, yeah. everybody can do stand-up comedy. It's not a scary. Everyone's scared of it and thinks it's difficult. It's not difficult. If you find the right attitude,
Yeah.
it's the easiest thing in the world to get on stage and chat to people. If you find that kind of feeling that, okay, I'm having a chat, I'm going to be funny, the audience is there to enjoy it. Don't see the audience as an enemy. They're there for a good time.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it. I mean, and I think going back to the course is there for the people who can do it but probably wouldn't do it. I think that's the most important thing about having a comedy course available to people is a lot of people wouldn't do that, wouldn't just get up into open mics, wouldn't have the sort of, I need to keep writing, I need to keep going, I've had a bad show, but I'm going to do another one.
Yeah.
I think doing a course helps people who wouldn't do it on their own keep going and get into comedy.
I love that.
Whereas,
it's a good sell too.
And some people can do it on their own,
Yeah, like me, I didn't need your course.
Yeah. I didn't need it at all. And look where you are now.
Not
Ukulele comedy.
No, Chris, don't remind them. Oh my God. Well, that's great advice. I actually really like that. And I think you're right. I think it's not that scary.
It's not. It's just if you go up having to have fun and you realise that the audience is there to have fun, then doesn't it take away the scariness of it?
Exactly. It's beautiful. It's a nice sentiment. Well, thank you so much, Chris.
Okay.
Really excited for your spotlight show.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to do some writing.
Yeah, get on it. Start writing. Write about cows. And I'm sure it's going to be great. So guys, check it out. You can get tickets on the website, thecomedyclubhouse.es. Is it just comedyclubhouse.es? I think it's thecomedyclubhouse.es.
You'll find it. You'll find it.
You'll find it. I'll put the link in the description.
If not, just put Secret Comedy Club and you'll find something else.
There it is. But all right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was great. We did it.